pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll begin with the minutes from the 9/17/18 meeting. I'll entertain for a motion to accept. Moved by Bob,
I'll second.
second by Chris. Discussion.
Nancy. That was Nancy.
Oh, it's Nancy? Discussion, corrections, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none opposed. And we'll go right to public comments. Just so you know, the procedure, the town procedure is a limit of 5 minutes.
I will not be 5 minutes.
Okay.
My name is Joy Eliezer. I am the secretary of the Friends of the Lake Pleasant Library, commonly known as the Friends. I just wish to thank the public for their support this year. We have had quite a few programs where we raise money, as you well know. And our function yesterday was at Oak Mountain. It was the Oaktoberfest. There were over 600 people there. That's what, that's what the O'Briens counted. So our program, along with them, in conjunction with them, was a huge success. We made about between $11,000 and $12,000 so far this year. We gave $4,000 for the paving of the driveway out here because there was a shortfall. We gave $2,000 for ebooks and audio books. We gave $500 for bricks. We gave $3,500 for the children's program that is held at the school on Tuesdays. And we gave over $1,000 for school and library programs that we had, and for our scholarship. We give a Molly Tanner scholarship out every year to a graduating senior from the area. So I just want to thank the public for their support, and we look forward to giving away more money, because we have in our budget for next year giving away even more. So that is what we earn, and we give it all away, just like the Twigs.
Thank you.
And whoopee, good work.
Gary Reinhardt, town citizen. I recently talked to the assessor, or is this, no, would it be the assessor, the gentleman who was here last time?
Appraiser.
Appraiser. And gave him the abstract deed to not just my property, but several properties around our area. And he had revealed that there's a good chance that my property, among others, have right-of-ways. As of right now, I don't know where they are, like where the right-of-way is, but if it's anything like the Machota's property, it's not Golf Course Road, it's a different, or not the one we've been all talking about for months, but a different one. My question is, if somebody owns the beach front, do the people who have a right-of-way to that beach still have access to getting to the lake, even if somebody owns the beach? That's my question.
Well, if they have right away, they have access.
Alright, so it
It's a
doesn't,
deeded right-of-way.
so say if the
A deeded
town
right-of-way.
sells the beach, as I think that the plan is going forward, and somebody buys it, then the people of the right of way still have a right to go through the beach to the lake. Is that my
That's
understanding?
correct.
Okay, I just wanted to see if anybody could answer that for me. So, thank you.
Anyone else?
I had to write it out because it's hard for me to stick to 5 minutes. Karen McComb. I'm not here to discuss specifics of the library budget, but rather to address the budgeting process itself. Not being a school district library, which many libraries are going to today, where the community votes to accept or reject the library budget, we rely on a communication platform between our library budget committee and the budget committee of the town. Members of a budget committee have one important responsibility, and that's to spend tax dollars wisely. We put a lot of faith in our budget committee, and we feel as if though the budget that they have put forward to you is a reasonable budget. There are a couple of line items in there, gotta go out of my realm here, that were not in the budget last year, one of which is for a part-time aid in the summer because our numbers have increased so much. In fact, in 2018, we had 9,642 people come into this library. Granted, some of those people came in more than once, but every time somebody comes in, they either use a computer or take out an item. We currently have 9 public computers and 2 iPads that the public can use for free. Those are only held until the warranty expires on them. Then we have to send them back to Sal's, where because of the software situation in them, the privacy issues have to be completely wiped out. So we cannot keep those, even though we paid for them, we can't keep them and wipe them out ourselves. We have to send them back to them. And so we tried to have a rotating budget that also includes the printers and the scanners, all of which are very widely used by the public. So that also is a pretty large item in our budget. Then you say, why do we have that much in there every year? It's because we have to have that rotating warrant. When the warranty expires, we have to turn them back to them. The bottom line is that the budget committee has worked very hard on putting this together. I would like permission to attend your meeting on October the 15th, even though it's not, it's a budget committee meeting that you're having to address any specific item that you might have that I can justify that cost for. So I wonder if I have that permission to do so.
It's a public meeting.
It is. Well, I
Yes.
have permission to speak at that. I mean, if you have a question of me, I'm not there to make modifications to it. I'm there to defend what has been put forward.
Sure.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move to highway. Randy?
Hi, everybody. Came back from vacation and was presented with a letter of resignation from one of my employees, David Jaquish. This Thursday is his last day. He got a job elsewhere for whatever personal reasons he's decided to move on. With that in mind, we just hired Lynn Page, and we just went through the application process. I met with Bob and Mike. Committee, I feel that when we advertised for the last one 2 weeks ago, we had another applicant that was just as qualified. We chose the one that we did. So now, being that I have another opening, right on top of that one, I would like to hire Trevor Blanchard. I come bring it to the board for approval. When Bob and I interviewed, he was just as qualified and such. For whatever reasons, we sat down and decided to hire Lynn first, but that's a moot point at this point.
We also told him there may be other openings.
Right, and we did. And I checked with him, and he still is looking for a job. Confirmed that today again. Things changed in 2 weeks, as I found. So I'm asking to hire him on as soon as he can, being that I'm losing one on Thursday.
Any questions?
It'll be laborer's position.
That was my question.
Sorry. The $13.48 an hour starting, I do believe it is.
Is he willing to work toward a CDL?
He is.
Okay.
And the person that we just hired took a test, I think is taking a test Friday for his CDL. So, I know you asked me that before.
I didn't hear Dan's question. Does
Yeah.
Trevor have a CDL?
He does not have it, but
Not
he's
yet,
willing
okay.
to
Okay.
start the process and he is able to get
Okay.
it. So,
So is it Robert Page or Lynn that's going for CDL?
Lynn is right now. I believe Robert's got his book also, but,
Okay, but so Lynn's taking the test on Friday?
yeah.
Okay.
But Trevor will also be willing to, so that's, you know.
Good. Any other questions?
Would, when they get their CDL, does that move them to MEO, or will they remain?
If there's spots, and at this point in time, there's spots. Because we've had such a, I have 4 laborers I'll have right now at this point. And the MEOs are limited, so. I did move Matt and Andy, now that they've trained on the backhoes and the graders, up to HEO. But that was in lieu of, you know, the numbers are still not even close to what we used to have as far as HEOs and MEOs, but I believe these laborers will move up relatively quickly to fill some of the spots, because I need truck drivers. And that's, the MEO gives them, you know, they can drive the plow trucks and such.
Right. Any objections?
Need a motion?
I would like a motion.
I'll move it.
Moved by Mike,
Second.
second by Bob. All in favor? Opposed?
Okay, that being said, Trevor. David would, well, first it started with Zeke. Was preliminarily leaving in December, retiring. Wants to know, because when Zeke was ill, the guys all donated sick time and such to Zeke to keep him paid because he ran out. Zeke would like to know if he can donate his excess sick time that he has now back to them. And I have and I have no idea. If we did it to give them, to keep them on, I don't know if, you know, they're only allowed a certain amount of sick time, you know,
Right.
to max out, but
Not sure how we would do that to do that.
I don't know either. And the people that, if you do it just the people that were there giving to get it back, that would be what I would suggest. You know,
Yeah.
those who gave
Right.
would be entitled to get it back, but I don't know if they're already maxed out, then there's no, you know, you can't give them more than what they're already maxed out.
Right, right, right.
So, I don't know if it's something you guys wanna consider, or do, or.
We should look into see how, if and how we can do that.
Right. He's just trying not, you know, trying to give back what he asked for when he was ill. So I need to go into, I would like to go, a motion to go into executive session later for 2 reasons. One is contract issues, for snowmobile clubs. And the other is a single personnel issue.
That's your contracts or something that would qualify for
I believe it
executive
is.
session. It is? Okay.
Chris,
All right.
Chris would know. She is. Or we can,
I'm not sure that it is. I'd have to look it up.
okay.
And personnel
Personnel.
does not appear in the open meetings law. Is to discuss blank about a specific individual,
Yes.
fill in the blank.
The blank is, well, it's what we discussed last time, the buyout law rule that we passed, Chris,
Okay.
for that one person. He would like it changed.
So this is a retirement
retirement
issue
issue.
with the, okay.
Correct.
That sick time repaying, I think most of the people that were
Well,
there
that's-
aren't anymore.
Right, I know Ed is, Malcolm, and Matt, I think, are the only three that are still employed.
Right.
And I don't know who gave what or what, because I wasn't foreman it.
He has
I
a,
was.
he
yeah.
has a list.
Okay.
Because
There is
when
a
I was
list?
still there, he asked me to let him know who donated what.
Okay.
At least I gave it to him back
He may have it still.
a couple of years ago.
And we have a new landowner on the 2 miles of hell that we have to approach. I will approach. Hopefully there's a snowmobiler that could sever our trail to Indian Lake at this point. So I'll fill you in more on that as it goes on,
But there are other options.
there's another option. The old state highway is across the street, goes, which is now abandoned by the state, given to the town
Right.
years and years ago.
Just needs to be brushed out.
Trees out and
Yeah.
full, yeah. But it was a highway, so it should be flat.
Yeah.
That's a plus. So, and that's it. Is everything online?
Don't they plow past?
We plow down the village section and then get to the town section, and we plow up to that trailer park, which is the last residence, the trailer.
Yeah, okay,
And the road goes alongside that trailer and keeps going out back,
okay, right, okay.
south. And it's fully wooded
Yeah.
at this point. I mean, let's face it, when
It's
the
been,
state road was built in 40s, 30s, somewhere in there. So,
all right. Anything else?
Nope.
Nothing under buildings?
no, I think I discussed the air conditioner last time,
Yep.
and heat's on. Not it?
Okay, anybody have any old business? I will say that Deb found out today that, we should see the abstract about the middle of the week, right?
Yeah.
On, 175 Gulf Coast Road. And, if there's no other old business, we'll go to new business. I had the tentative budget, which we've all been presented with, which we'll have time to look at. And, Mike, you had,
Yeah, I got some new business, yeah. Recently I was approached by the president of DRAG, Rick Swift, in regards to DRAG is liquidating some of their fleet. They currently have a 97 BR-110, which is a sister to the one that we have. They're willing to pretty much give us a rock bottom price on it. It's in very good condition. We've checked it out. They're looking to get $15,000 for the groomer and the drag, which is a really good price. Currently, I talked with Randy. We've discovered some problems with our older one, the one that we have now, which could come into costing some extensive repairs, which could lead to like $4,000 to $5,000 worth of repairs. The rear differential is starting to show wear. It's got chunks missing out of it. We got pictures of it. Randy found that when we were doing some maintenance on it. And at this point, it's working, but we don't know how long and for how long it's gonna go to work. So that small groomer basically is responsible for 5 different trails. Give or take, depending on what we do with our clubs. And if it fails, we can't use the bigger groomers on it. So I'm proposing that we purchase this groomer and drag from Drag for $15,000 to be as a standby and a backup for the other BR-110.
could this be used for Fawn Lake and Big Brook?
It could be used for Mason Lake, 2 Miles of Hell, Fawn Lake, Big Brook, and Oxbow Trail if we need to.
Which would eliminate trailering?
Correct. We would not have to trailer it from Mason Lake, which would be man hours. We could leave it
over on Fawn Lake, and also the wear and tear on the groomer being trucked and installed back and forth.
And to run that groomer from Big Brook to
It's an all-day adventure.
all day.
All day, a lot of man hours.
Yeah.
We've done it for,
So the older machine could be used on the,
It could be
Major
used
Lake Indian-
up north, you know, where it'd have to be taken care of, where this other machine has half the hours, half the miles on it, and is in a lot better shape than the one that we have. And we do have the funding in this year's budget
yes,
to purchase it.
without touching the road fund,
Right.
and it's the Parks and Rec fund.
to the money from Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
And the fuel budget could be leftover fuel budget from last year, last winter. Unless we're expecting a huge snowfall in November, December. I don't think so, but,
The way it's raining now.
thank you. Hey, I'm all for it if it's gonna snow that much, but I want snow, not rain.
Any discussion?
What would be the time on that? To make it happen, I mean.
Well, they're ready to liquidate it right now, so whenever we pull the trigger.
What do you think it's worth? I
When
mean,
we were looking earlier, it's probably worth 25, 30.
I would say with the drag 25, 30, the drag itself is at least 6,000 or 7,000. 18,000 new, you figure just under half of that for a used one. So
Why-
6 or 7 for that.
Why are they selling it at that
They,
price?
they got it, the two other machines on grants. So they put a lot of money for that 20% down on, for their grants. So they've liquidated their cash availability. So now they have a machine that they don't use, and they're looking to basically pad their cash flow. They've taken on not more than they can chew, but right to their max. And this machine literally sat almost all last winter because they're using the new ones.
Was that the one by the camp store?
No,
Oak
it's the one by, sitting at Oak Mountain.
Okay.
Camp store one they're keeping there, because they got a grant for the tracks that are on that, so they have to keep it for 10 years. Or at least they have to keep the tracks, so. They can't sell that,
Okay.
so, that is older, they would prefer to sell that, but they can't. And being there's a sister machine to it, it's one serial number off,
Oh.
literally,
Isn't that interesting?
yeah.
Any other questions?
They didn't build a lot of them, so.
And this comes with spare parts and stuff too?
From what I don't know what it consists of as far as spare parts, but it said that it had all the spare parts.
There is some.
They have
What
no
about
use
the
for it.
drag?
It
Yeah,
only
they have
fits
no
that.
reason, to keep it
The
because.
drag?
To drag with it, yep.
You want a motion for,
I need a motion.
I'll make a motion we purchase. I think it's very important that we keep the trails up, and this would save a lot of wear and tear on the one VR 110 that we have.
Try to limp it along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
suggest
don't,
we
I
commit
mean,
that.
I have pictures of it in our spring thing. I don't wanna say that it's not gonna last a year or it's gonna last 5 years. I have no idea, but I can show you chunks of metal that are missing from the ring and pinion.
It did fail 6 or 8 years ago.
Yes, we did have a failure, the
Same
same
problem.
thing, but that was, oh, it was the first year Leo was in office, so 2010.
What are you talking for new?
The ring and pinion alone, the set was $4,000.
Yeah.
So that's why last spring we decided, worst case scenario, it's gonna ruin the ring and pinion, so we'll run it until it does, see how long it'll last.
I'll second Dan's motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none. Motion's passed. Anything else? No?
Nope, that's it.
Any other new business? Back up to the budget. Mark, did you want to add anything that's budget officer?
Say a couple words. Mark Prairie. So it's budget time. First, I want to thank Debbie, Nancy, Danny, Randy for spending time with me, getting know the procedure, getting some of your numbers together. Thank you, Nancy, for reaching out to the library for that. So I put the numbers together, published a revised schedule a couple of weeks ago by email. Everybody received a copy, I hope. No, I haven't heard any feedback, so I guess that's okay with everybody.
Can we change?
No. So 2 weeks, you'll have a couple of weeks to look at the numbers, rattle them around the bird cage, and we get together in 2 weeks at 4 o'clock, I believe, for the first public workshop. And my intention was, or the procedure, I believe, for the 2 workshops, the public's invited, but I don't think we're gonna be soliciting input from the public at that point. They have the opportunity at the public hearing in November.
Mhm. That's how it works.
We're in agreement with that?
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So,
The one on October 15th, I know you have the general fund, A, I guess,
Right.
A, B.
everything but highway and,
Fire department.
fire department.
Karen.
Or that's,
Yeah, Karen has already expressed an interest in coming. Perhaps that can be done first before everything other than highway and the fire department.
I was gonna say,
Thank
Karen
you.
is cordially invited. We
Thank you.
welcome your input.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
And that'll be at 4 o'clock? 4 o'clock.
Thank you.
Okay. Great.
Very good, thank you, Mark. Begin with library. Okay. Any other new business? I'll entertain for a motion to pay the bills, and at this time, we've all been through them.
So moved.
Moved by Chris,
Now second.
second by Nancy. Any questions?
For neither.
Okay.
There
The
are
only contracts
two
that can be
sets of
discussed in
bills.
executive
Yes.
session are with unions.
Yeah, we both.
Oh, really?
yes, we both.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Opposed, not opposed. And, back at public comments, anyone at this time?
I might have to come back if I can't go to an executive session.
Okay. We'll go back to highway then?
Yeah,
Is this on the bio?
it's on the buyout and it's on this snowmobile club contract.
Contract, yeah.
Elected negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of Civil Service Law. Okay, that's your news. Alright. First one is, we'll go with the contracts. These, I'll pass these around. These are the two dollar amounts of the contracts. Everything else stays the same as far as they have to perform 5 days a week, minimum. That's the dollar amounts that they were at last year, and I have not been told by the state that they're dropping it any. So that's, and that part of the contract is showing Pleasant Riders doing Oxbow Trail, Fawn Lake, and Big Brook, which will change now. It also shows Drag as doing from the town up to, can't remember the numbers, but basically up to Perkins Clarence, and then south of town to the tree farm, going into Wells territory. They
I don't know. This must be Pleasant Riders?
Yes. The 5800 is Pleasant Riders, the 48 is Dragon Speculator. One, I have them digitally here. I'm just bringing it up to you, so we don't wanna change it any way, shape, or form that I know of, but we're having a discrepancy with, one of the clubs that last year, and we had a board meeting, a meeting with them, I shouldn't say, a committee meeting, said that they needed to come up with a schedule for the grooming. We haven't received such schedule.
And it's been
Months,
3 months.
yeah. So, in order to get this contract signed so they have time to clear the trails and do all the fall prep work, we need to get going on it. So I'm coming to the board to ask, what would you like me to do with these contracts? As far as presenting it to them, do you want me to attend their meeting and basically throw it in their face? Or say what's going on?
I would suggest we contact the president and tell her it's crunch time, we need to know, or there's no contract.
Okay.
That would be my suggestion.
Well, it was our thought that she was gonna come right back to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a meeting real quick and get right back to us.
So you're looking for the hours that they kept up track of grooming?
We have the hours that they
Okay.
actually did the grooming.
Okay.
We wanted a schedule of when they thought they could have because it's all volunteers.
Right,
Have man hours, so that if we had a schedule,
okay.
we could A, say yes or no, need more, or B, okay, we can fill in. But we don't have a schedule, we don't have it's open-ended here.
Remember,
I wish I brought the rest of I do have the rest of the
You
contract.
said something about 5 times a week minimum for each trail? That's
Correct,
1 time a week? Oh, 5 times a week?
right.
Wait, not necessarily like 3 times a day, or it's when the trail needs to be done?
Yes.
Okay.
It says, said contractor agrees, shall properly clear brush and groom all trails in that territory, such inspection is by the town. Payment, which you all know will be done in 3 monthly installments, 15th of every month, shall groom the trails, contracted territory at least 5 times per week, depending on conditions, and if possible, those Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and in coordination with any special events that may be going on. So obviously, poker runs, so on and so forth, need more attention in certain areas. Shall brush and maintain trails, repair and maintain all bridges. In the territory, bridges are at least 8 feet wide minimum at all times. Grooming done by other individuals in the contracted territory will only be done with the contractor's permission. In other words, they can't subcontract it to other people without telling us. They're supposed to supply us with a list of groomer operators, so we know who's out there if something is done wrong. First-time grooming contractors will train and groom with contractors who have had previous contract. They can't just send somebody out there for the first time alone. Reimburse the contractor for fuel yearly, up to $500. All grooming will happen, this is the key right here, between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. to allow for freeze-up over the night. If other times are desired, you're supposed to a certain trail, supposed to get a hold of me and okay it with me. This is where the scheduling comes in. And must read and understand the New York State guidelines for grooming. There's a whole 90-page book on that. If any above are not followed, payment will not be awarded.
I assume that's all page 1 of
That's page
this
1.
contract? Okay.
Yes. And then you have what you have here in front of you as far as the rest of it. And they're both verbatim per club.
Yeah.
The only thing that changes is what trails they do, and it's all done by mileage that we're reimbursed by the state. The state gives us $611 per mile to groom. They have 7 miles in a trail, then they get paid that times 7. What we're having problems with is whether or not they feel it's necessary and manpower doing it.
Well, we ran into that last year, and we did pay them for what,
Right. We paid them for what they did, and that was it. And it was a very small amount of their contract.
but we need a commitment, so we know what,
Correct. So I just wanna know if you want me to approach them again and pull the contract and, or change the contract, what do you want me to do?
there's a contact on what I'm.
President,
We're
and
still
say-
waiting to hear back from the last meeting, and it's crunch time. We need to have some answers soon, so we can plan on winter's coming fast.
Right.
I think we need to establish a date to hear back by,
Yep.
Okay.
because if you don't put something out there, we'll potentially have the same problem we have now.
Right,
Good point.
okay.
So,
And if we make that,
returnable by such and such a date.
Right.
I mean, the 15th,
Yeah, today's what, the 1st?
Yep.
Okay, I'll give them 2 weeks.
That's fine.
And, you know, there's no problem with drag, obviously, it's just the other one.
Well, Drag has in there gotten a hold of me when they're gonna change things. Monday and Tuesdays or Wednesdays are tough days for them to groom up to the Perkins Clearing. So we take care of that. They, on the other hand, do other trails, ours, all we, you know, by another groom, that's the one on Page Street. So we've negotiated, you know, give and takes there. They are, as you would say, much more transparent with their issues. They know if they have an issue on these days because people aren't here, then they come to us and say, we don't have people. But certain people can groom certain things in certain machines, you know. They have, and both of them have a very rigorous training schedule. They don't want, you know, these are clubs that are volunteering their money and their time.
Yeah.
They don't want anybody, just anybody grooming, but I don't have any contract issues with Drag at this point.
Okay.
So,
all right?
okay, so that's the first one. The second one is we set up a resolution, which Debbie has. I'm confused by the resolution the way it's worded now, that it comes down to time to actually use it.
Christine's with the buyout.
It's about the buyout that we created, a timeline in which a retiree could still get his buyout rather than us paying his full insurance for his retirement. Which the buyout is only 20%, so it's definitely an advantage to do such. But if you read that, I don't know if we're wording it that he's only gonna get the buyout for 3 years, if he goes beyond January.
No, that was done that specifically that way because now all employees have to pay the 20% and wouldn't qualify for this. This was based on his,
He was going to, this individual was going to retire December, beginning of December. Now,
at that,
this individual is looking to possibly retire more closer to spring. April, May. If I was under the understanding that this resolution said after January 1, that buyout thing wasn't gonna be available. Was I
Chris.
correct on that, or, I'm confused on this, so.
Chris, you came up with that date, and
Yeah,
I
I'm
believe
reading
it was based on when he's,
it. Yeah, it was, on when he wanted to retire.
Right, he was going to retire in December, and we set this forth for January, correct?
Yeah, it would have to be, we haven't, well, it's 2022. Was this done this way purposely? I mean, we're focusing on this one employee.
That's the
Who's the only one that-
the only employee that's going to ever hit this debacle
Well, he's still gonna fall
in the 2022.
in.
I see no reference to January 1st in the health insurance retiree buyout resolution.
Yeah, it's January 19th, after January 19th.
Why was January 19th?
I don't remember why we picked that. That's why,
It's just,
there it is.
Yeah.
yeah.
There had to be a reason, but I don't recall right offhand what it was.
I don't have my notes on this with me. Can we table this for now and
Mm-hmm.
bring it up at the next meeting?
Because he's offering to stay on for the winter,
Right.
but I feel that if we created this,
We did this specifically,
right, I
Because we
don't
figured
want to be
one-shot
changing
deal
rules and
because nobody
laws.
else would overqualify.
Right,
and it made sense because it's a lot cheaper for the town to pay the buyout than
right.
to pay the full insurance.
Yeah, it's 80% cheaper.
Right.
He's willing to work the entire winter?
That's what he said to me, but
And
when I
you-
presented this to him, I said, I thought we changed it so you had to make up because he was leaving in December.
Right,
And we made this so that after January, this couldn't,
right. What I'm asking is, he's made this offer because he knows you're short on truck drivers, is that the deal? Snowplow drivers?
he's made this offer, number one, because he went to, I don't know how it worked out at retirement, but, so be it, 6 months is not gonna help him. He's got 10 years and that's the turnkey. He's hoping also that he has family members that are gonna be moving back in that qualify for this job that would also fit into this situation.
Mm-hmm,
Whether or not we hire him, that's up to us.
mm-hmm, right,
But he's thinking down the road for his entire,
mm-hmm,
the big picture.
okay.
What I can do is I can make copies of those that I just handed out and send them to the board members so they have that information
Right.
to look over. It was February 5th meeting, if everybody has their
February
notes.
5th it
Yep.
was.
I've got it dated January 17th, so.
Oh, I don't-
Maybe that's when you brought it up and it was January.
I had it in 5th of February, that was the resolution we passed, but I know we discussed it a lot of times, because I was absent at that meeting.
Right.
All right, we'll look at this and readdress it at the next meeting. That's okay.
So if I could have those back, I'll make copies for you guys, because I didn't make
Okay.
copies, I'm sorry.
I just made a note on top of that one. I
That's
made
okay, I'll
some-
email it, that's okay, I'll email it back to you tomorrow.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it?
Okay, then there's no reason for an executive session. Correct?
Correct.
Round
I wasn't
table.
allowed.
Nancy? Chris? Bob? Mike? I'd just like to say that the presentation that was last Monday, I thought went very well. I believe everybody left the presentation with a better understanding of what's involved with the right-of-way process, so. And I'd just like to publicly thank Dan Fife for spending the time to come and do this for us, so.
Can I just make a comment? It seems like there's a little bit of misunderstanding that's going around the town of who the town's attorney is. I just want to state it for the fact that our attorney is Young and Somers. There seems to be a misunderstanding.
Did you say that again?
Our town attorney is a firm called Young and Somers, and I just want the public to realize that that's who.
Where are they located?
Albany. If you need their address, you can provide it for you.
That would be good.
I'll need contact information from you though.
I'm sorry?
I'll need some contact information from you, so I'll get it to you.
Okay. You have my email.
Are we open for comments?
We had public comment, but we can reopen public comments.
All right.
Please
We went
step up
from
to,
abstracts to back to,
Dick, can you step up to the podium and state your name, please?
you know, Dan, I can't.
Okay, then speak loud enough so we can hear it on this.
My name is Dick Myers. I live at 152 Golf Course Road. And I'm here this evening to speak on behalf, perhaps, of some of most of the Golf Course Road people who are not here, who have an interest in Lot 175. I will say, a second Dan's comments of the assessor.
Assessor Dan Twyfe.
Yeah, get it mixed up with the other one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, the assessor
Getting confused.
presentation was pretty good and informational. I would in fact speak to what he said to me about Lot 175. It is almost a seasonal right-of-way because it is so subject to seasonal weather here in New York State and the Adirondacks, and that it takes on a different look just about every time you go down there, depending on recent rainfall and such. It's wetlands all the time, but more wetlands most of the time. It's pretty dry, maybe June, July, middle August, but then it gets to be a bit iffy. I mention that because he did. My other questions or comments are, and they all speak to Lot 175. Well, I'd like to know, and we would like to know, what the town board's protocol is going to be when you arrive at the decision, which is apparently to sell. We need to know what steps you're taking, the communication link, because there are 15 right-of-way owners who should have the courtesy of advance notice of sale, because it impacts the right-of-ways. Like to know the method of sale. There are different ways of approaching sales of properties. Is it going to go for auction? Is it going to go for bid? Live bid? Or are you going to follow the script of, I believe it's something other of 64, which gives the protocol for selling town property? I'd like to know, and we'd like to know, who the appraisers are. They need to be non-partisan appraisers. While albeit they need to be familiar with lake properties, we would like it to be very non-partisan, should it so. And I guess I would question, has there been an appraisal?
Has there been what?
Has there been an appraisal of the property?
No, not yet.
Then how would they have arrived at $63,000?
That's the assessed value, isn't it?
I understand, but,
Well, that's what the assessor does.
That's the assessor's
That's what
job.
he explained it that way.
well,
Right.
I think he has a different view of the assessment now that he's more familiar with property.
Yeah, after Stephanie told him what it's like at various times of the year. He did say he was gonna go down and look at it,
Not only
which he had
that,
not done yet.
not only that, given that there's an east side, west side apparently, you know, it's like the east side, west side of town.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's a good side and sometimes a bad side. The 15 right-of-way owners happen to be on the bad side. And very many of the property owners with assessed values, given his information that he provided, of good, average, and poor, the 15 right-of-way owners are being taxed some at good, and we're all poor. We're all on the poor side of the property. That's not right, and it should be changed.
It
Is
should be
that-
addressed with the assessor.
And it has been, and he is looking at
And if you're not satisfied with whatever he comes up with next spring, there's always the
On
Board of
March
Assessment
1st.
review.
it. Right. As for the abstract not being available, I believe you said, or somebody said, when? It's gonna be-
Actually, I spoke to him and it is just, he's just waiting for somebody to have it typed up, but it's complete.
I spoke to him today at 4 o'clock, and it's been typed. And I believe it's been emailed.
Oh, then he sent it to me?
And he said that he
I
was,
left my office at 4, so I didn't check my emails if that's the case. But I can.
and he'd be surprised if you could analyze it within a short period of time, because it's as much as 220 pages. And it would and should be referred to the town attorney before any action is taken. Which brings me to the last subject. Last year, the sign went up on the property when everybody is gone. And it appears as though the action that could be taken this year will be when all of the seasonal property owners on Golf Course Road, more or less, are gone. I'm probably the longest stayer of any, and I stay until mid-December. So
I don't know if
I
there's
think you
any,
need to take that into
I don't think
consideration.
there's any rush for us to sell it, if we're gonna sell it. We could wait till next summer.
Well, I'd like, my point in bringing up these different things is that I think in fairness, with the amount of discussion that's going on, there ought to be a published protocol, at least to the 15 owners, on what's going on and when it's gonna happen before it happens.
That's no reason we can't.
Yeah, there's no reason we can't do that. All of these meetings are publicized. And
Not very well. Dan, I didn't see.
better than other,
Well,
board
maybe
meeting.
better than others, but
Yeah.
I didn't see today's announced in a paper.
We don't have to advertise it.
you don't have to have.
Well, but-
At our organizational meeting, it states that the town board meetings are the first and the third Monday of the month. Outside my shadow box, every week I change the sign, it says when the next meetings are
Well-
gonna be. And I believe in the minutes, it states that when the next meeting's gonna be.
Not everybody gets minutes.
Oh,
The minutes are available online.
they're on the website.
Not everybody knows where they are, I assure you.
No.
I'm extended my 5 minutes.
Right, thank you. Anyone else?
Just nothing, yeah.
No,
I'll entertain for a motion to adjourn then.
I so moved.
Moved by Nancy. Second,
I'll second.
Mike.
Sorry, I was reading.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
We all want to stay.